please welcome to the stage Vice President of Product Management at Qualcomm, Vinesh Sukumar.
Aloha. I can't hear you guys. Aloha. That's it. So exciting to be back at Snapdragon 2025. I see a lot of familiar faces in the crowd, so thanks for coming in. And for folks who don't know me, I'm Vinesh Sukumar. I lead the AI product team at Qualcomm. And I should say it's an absolute privilege of mine to stand in front of you guys to talk some of the exciting things we're doing in the space of AI, starting with 8 Elite Gen 5 platform. So let's not waste time and then dig right in. So when you look at the mobile AI space, there's been a lot of experience innovation around both perception and on a generative AI space. And at Qualcomm, we've been supporting this ecosystem innovation for quite some time. And I should say, we are pretty damn good at it. And depending upon the use cases, we either position the Orion CPU or the Adreno GPU to really push it through. But for the last couple of years, there's been a lot of ecosystem pull to really drive towards sustained leadership over extended period of time with very low impact to the battery life. And this is where the Hexagon NPU stands out. It happens to be the heart and soul of Qualcomm AI, and is a key differentiator for us for all of the premium brand mobile SoCs out there. Now, moving forward, the question becomes is, for both perception and for generative AI use cases, it's all about speed. Speed is the moat. The question becomes is, how are we anchoring that on this specific generation? On Hexagon NPU, in this specific generation, we are about 37% faster compared to that of the previous generation. And since most of these experiences have transitioned from being on demand to being ubiquitous, it becomes extremely critical that we continue to emphasize on battery life. And this generation, we are about 16% better performance per watt compared to that of the previous generation. And I want everybody in this room to take a couple of seconds, take a pause, look at the slide. 37% faster and 16% better performance per watt in one generation. That's almost impossible to do. I've been in the space of AI for close to 20 years, and getting a double-digit growth is just phenomenal, right? And at Qualcomm, we have been able to pull this off on 8 Elite Gen 5 platform. Now, a good question at this point of time would be, how the hell did we pull this off? So let's deep dive into our Hexagon NPU. We've been investing in Hexagon NPU architecture for several generations. And when you look at the core of it, it basically consists of 3 important blocks. We have the vector core, the scalar core, and the tensor core. When you're looking at processing large models, especially looking at prompt processing, and you want to accelerate the prompt processing, especially for longer context, to have better end-to-end latency, we have to make sure that we invest in our vector cores. And in this generation, we have about 8 vector cores, which is an increase from last year. Same time, we also have a lot of these large models which are still focused on matrix acceleration, which still need the effective investment of gem-based kernels. And we're able to get that done with increased investment in our compute modules, which are part of our tensor core. At the same time, most of these deep learning models, especially in the perception space or the generative space, focus still on, I would say, activation acceleration or support for dynamic shapes or irregular patterns. And for that to get accelerated, we have increased the number of scalar cores to about 12 cores in this generation. Last but not the least is we have also increased the bandwidth that goes to all these cores, so you can really drive towards real-time processing as you access information from the memory. Thereby, it impacts, I should say, it lowers your end-to-end latency, or it gets better quality of service to the user. Now, that being said, I'm not done yet, right? We have new data types that we've introduced in this generation. We have the 2-bit Into, and we have the FP8. The Into basically gives you the fundamental infrastructure investment to really move towards higher token rate because of increased bandwidth. And FP8 gives you the added advantage of if you happen to have models that are trained in floating point 8, without any kind of graph-to-graph transformation, you can port them and then run it on inference using FP8. So which means from a time-to-market perspective, it's almost minimal to none. That's the advantage you get on this generation. Now, as I mentioned, speed is the moat. So kind of building upon the elements of generative AI experiences. The entire ecosystem has transitioned, I should say, from instruction-based models to multimodal reasoning-based models. And if you want to really have better UX, or you should say better user experience, it's important to have a higher token rate. Why? Because the difference between a model that generates 150 tokens per second to 220 tokens per second is several seconds of latency. And again, on 8 Elite Gen 5 platform, we have done the impossible. And we have about 220 tokens per second. Again, please look at the slide, 220 tokens per second for a 3 billion large language model. I'll go for it. Awesome. Now, beyond speed, it's also critical that we focus on our memory architecture. When you look at storing these large models on edge devices, historically what we have done is we have broken these models into smaller chunks, and these chunks are located in different locations within the memory. And when you want to invoke a reference, then these models are constructed from the memory module, and then you drive towards inference. What happens when you try to do this stuff is it impacts the latency because you have to do stitching of these different chunks, and it manifests itself in time to first token or your end-to-end latency as well. So we, in this generation, have made sure that we address the specific challenge, and we have migrated towards a 64-bit architecture, thereby providing the fundamental infrastructure to really store these large models within a specific location within the memory module itself. It also provides you the advantage of getting or expanding the virtual address space, which is extremely critical for LLM performance. From a bandwidth standpoint, we are now at LPDDR5X, running at about 5.2 gigahertz per second, gives you a total bandwidth of roughly about 80 to 90 megabits per second, which is good enough to drive towards a higher token rate. Now, a good question at this point of time is all these investments around memory, on memory bandwidth, on data types, on scalar cores, vector cores, what does it mean to the user? Right. Yesterday, Cristiano, and today, Alex talked about Agentic AI. Agentic AI is all about how do you translate the intent of a user and then enable certain actions which are repeatable, which are accurate, which are explainable, and is fast enough, right? And to show all this infrastructure investments that we have done in this generation, I like to bring on stage my very good friend, Jerry, and George, who is the co-founder and CTO of Lila Networks, to show this demo live on stage. Give a big hand of applause, please.
Thank you so much,
George.
All right, thank you, Vinesh. You guys ready to see some live demo? Yeah. Yes? All right. So George and his team, they already have a very successful app on the Google Play Store. It's called Layla. So we just want to thank George and his team for working exclusively with us on this brand new app that's going to unlock so many agentic AI features. So George, can you tell us what Page AI is all about?
Of course. Thank you, Jerry. So Page AI is a personalized agentic AI assistant that runs locally on your phone. It has long-term memory. It has document processing, image generation, calendar features, and a lot more. So all of this runs locally on your phone, so no data ever leaves your device.
Can we see it in action, George?
Oh, yeah, of course. So let's ask Page.
Okay, who are you and what can you do? That's a very important question to ask LLM.
So you can see the LLM is running and very fast, and it's answering.
Awesome. So George, this is awesome, but we know that LLMs doesn't really have the current information, right? So what if I wanted to know like what the weather is like right now in Maui? Can we do that?
Oh, we can. So this is where the agentic features come in. So if you ask something like, what's the weather like?
And George is showing off a agentic calling function.
So it'll
he's typing.
detect the question, it'll query the weather API. The network's a little slow, but it's still querying, and it's completed, and it can read the current weather information.
Awesome.
And, I'm an Australian, so we like to fire up the Barbie, no matter what the weather is. So let's tell Paige this. Let's fire up the Barbie. And let's invite my good friend Jerry here. Let's say at 5 p.m.
Okay, let's try to make that. So, okay, I can
And you can see
Agentic's scheduled event triggered. Awesome.
So it is calling the calendar tool right now in your phone, and it will create the event in your phone, inviting Jerry from your contacts.
Okay, George, I have no idea where the Barbie is. I'll try to be there at 5. Maybe somebody in the audience is from Australia, but George, please.
No problem. But Paige does. So that's one of the most exciting features I'd like to share is Paige AI's long-term memory. So while you chat with Paige actually distills all your conversations into knowledge graphs. So you can see George, Jerry here, and the Barbie is already scheduled. And in your future chats, Paige will actually bring information from its long-term memory into your chats, so giving you a much more relevant answer.
So George, you're telling me Paige understands your Australian slangs.
Oh, it does. It does.
Okay, awesome. So you gotta teach me some next time.
Of course.
So George, you mentioned document processing, right? So I think in AI terms, it's called RAG. Can you actually show us that?
Oh, yes. So Paige has document processing features, and I've preloaded a document here for you. So what Paige does is actually Paige breaks the document into layers, and each layer is built upon the previous one. So this gives a deeper understanding of the document. So Paige can answer questions, general questions like what this document is about. General questions which may not actually be in the document itself.
And George, this will work with any PDF or document.
Any PDF, TXT, even links.
Awesome. So I think what you say I can think of is next time you buy a car with a 200-page manual, so there are no more excuses not to read it before you drive it off the lot. Awesome. George, so you mentioned image generation, right? Mm-hmm. Can you show us that as well?
Of course. So Paige comes preloaded with a Stable Diffusion model. It's a realistic model, one of the best. And this is running purely on Qualcomm's Hexagon NPU. It generates images in less than a second. And even while you chat, if you ask it to generate an image, it will do that.
Awesome. So that's yet another agentic AI feature, right?
Yes, exactly.
Awesome, George. So again, you mentioned that it can run any LLM, right? Virtually any. So can you actually show the audience that?
Yep. So for the more technical people, you can configure options like sampler settings, temperature, dynamic temperature, top P, top K. And here we've given you a list of recommended models which are tested to work with this phone.
That's awesome, George. I actually see something really cool here. So this logo right here is actually the Qualcomm AI Stack logo. And it has a very special file name, right? PTE. Can you tell the audience what that is?
Yep. PTE stands for PyTorch, Executorch. So this is actually a specific format that is compiled to run on Qualcomm's NPU. And it's much more efficient, much more faster.
Yeah, so if you can see the slide in the middle, you see Executorch. This is a brand new runtime from PyTorch. So this is the fastest way to actually get your models to run our NPU. And this has Qualcomm AI Stack built in right into it. So it has the best performance, best power efficiency, and ease of use.
Exactly, yes.
Awesome. So George, one last thing. If you scroll down a little, I don't know if the audience actually notices, but there's GPT OSS actually loaded into this phone. So GPT OSS, this is the latest and greatest model that's open weight from OpenAI. So it has agentic AI features, mixture experts, and actually reasoning models, right? So this might be the world's first phone actually running GPT OSS, right?
It is.
So, George, can we see that? I'm super excited about this.
Of course. So GPT is a reasoning model. And as everyone knows, reasoning models work best with logic problems. So let's give it a try here. So this is GPT OSS running on a phone. And we can show the reasoning here. So you can see it's providing the reasoning and the explanation. And it's running really fast for a 20 billion model.
Wow, that's very impressive, George. So yeah, for the audience, please scan the QR code, which is going to come up very soon. This is the first time we're actually having a real app today for you to download. You can download it today. You don't run it on the latest and greatest your phone. But when the the ALE Gen 5 comes out, it'll be a lot faster than that. So with that, thank you, George. And back to you, Vinesh.
Thank you, George.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you.
It gave me goosebumps, so hopefully it does the same for you guys at the demo. I learned at least 3 new things. I never realized barbecue is called Barbie in Australia. So, okay, I need to keep that in my nomenclature for sure. The second thing is all about, personal memory graph exciting. I always joke with my kids is AI inference these days lack common sense. It's because they don't understand you. And did I hear that? It's GPT OSS, the very first mobile device, right? I'll go for that. Yeah. So let's look at elements of personalization, right? As I mentioned before, at Qualcomm, we put a lot of emphasis on making sure these models, these agentic flows that we're enabling on these mobile devices, is not mimicking you, but it acts exactly like you, right? And for that, we need to make sure we have the necessary infrastructural investments put in place. And in this generation, for the very first time on 8 Elite Gen 5 platform, we're introducing the Personal Scribe. The Personal Scribe is a new capability of the Sensing Hub, and it's all about how do you intelligently store the elements about the conversations that you're having around you and with you. And why is this critical? Because this lays the foundation for creating a knowledge graph. Right? And this knowledge graph is something that is stored locally within the memory module itself. Now let's take a step back and look at the Sensing Hub information. The Sensing Hub is critical for elements of on-device personalization. Because for personalization, these models or these agents that is built on these models needs to know you, needs to understand your emotional intelligence, and needs to understand your behavioral patterns. And that's what we're trying to do using this Sensing Hub. And since this Sensing Hub is ubiquitous and a continuous learning infrastructure, it is very critical that the power draw is as minimal as possible. And in this generation, ladies and gentlemen, it's about 33% better power efficiency compared to the previous SoCs. Isn't it amazing? All of it is double-digit growth, and I've never seen an SoC do this stuff. Anyway, so all these personal knowledge graphs is done on the device, and especially when you happen to have a conversation with your agent, what we exactly do is we retrieve information from this vector database, we augment this into a prompt, get this into a large model, and make sure we reduce hallucination and produce an output that matches to what the user is looking for. And that's what we strive for elements of personalization. Now, let's shift gears and talk a little bit more about on-device agentic AI, less about theory, and want to make sure we show another demo that you can experience yourself on the Play Store. And for that, I'd like to welcome Tim, CEO and founder of Anything LLM. Yeah. Welcome, Tim. Thank you.
So, hey everyone. Today, I want to showcase a new, exciting offering for Anything LLM. Anything LLM is an all-in-one desktop assistant. Everything you want an AI to do and the things you might not even know are possible are at your fingertips with Anything LLM. This includes things like RAG, building custom AI agents, workflow automations, and even soon, a note-taking and meeting assistant. It's all in a single desktop package that lives entirely on your machine, geared specifically for productivity tasks. AI is a tool that augments employees, and Anything LLM is the package that makes that happen. Anything LLM takes a unique local-first but hybrid approach, that same hybrid approach you've probably heard today. That means anything you can do in Anything LLM, we always support first locally, and any model you've ever heard of, you can definitely run. We can also seamlessly connect to a private cloud inference service if you have one, which allows you to save on costs, scaling, and keep privacy front and center when you mix this hybrid model. With our built-in tooling, we have over 5 million installations globally that use Anything LLM for general productivity tasks. So no longer do you need to light up a huge server farm of expensive GPUs just to summarize an email. You can do this on your device that you already use and you already do productive work on, while you can still leverage those servers for the really big, complicated tasks. Anything LLM will automatically use the hardware available on your machine, whatever it might be, to get those best speeds. And for this, we've partnered with Qualcomm to leverage the NPU for inference exclusively on Snapdragon laptops, where we can get that speed and performance when it matters to run these large language models on your machine. But today, I'm happy to announce that we are pushing on-device inference even further with Anything LLM Mobile. So Anything LLM Mobile, which is available today on Android through Google Play, takes this very same philosophy of this local first plus hybrid approach, but this time puts it in the palm of your hands. And of course, it is accelerated on Snapdragon devices. So let's hop into a brief demo of Anything LLM Mobile. So as you can see, this is a very common chat interface. And actually, if we look at the available models, you can see that you don't need to be an expert to use our app. We try to simplify everything that we can, including the model selection based on your hardware. Today, I'm just going to run our lightest weight model, which is currently Qwen 3 0.6b, but you can select from a list of models that we've curated as well as bringing in your own. Chatting with a model, though, only gets you so far, so we also add in all the agentic abilities that you would expect to find. As you can see, we have all of the tools that are kind of like, I would say table stakes for Agentic AI. So web search, web scraping, of course, location awareness, but also, more importantly, cross-app interactions. So of course, drafting an email, drafting a text, and of course, integrating with the calendar that probably runs your life. So let's just run a simple web search query that has to do with searching for something to do in our local area. As you can see, Qwen 3 is a thinking model. And one of the things we like to showcase is that thinking process. And of course, also all of the tools and information that is ingested. Because when a model is running on these devices and you're giving it all of this real-time context, it's really important to identify what is true and what isn't, so we make that available to you. And as you can see, the model is outputting the real response of just a couple things to do, and of course, the ability for you to go and quickly find out where that information came from. So you can imagine our tools and a model running on your device being able to be really, really capable when paired with the Snapdragon Sensing Hub. Because after all, in AI, context is king. Now that was a very basic use case, and standalone, while Anything LLM Mobile is impressive, what's more impressive is what we call distributed inference. Simply put, as AI finds its way on your devices in a modern world, you're going to have context and compute all over the place. Anything LLM Mobile can seamlessly pair to Anything LLM Desktop, which now means that all of your documents, the custom agents, and the things you do on your computer or in Anything LLM Desktop can now be done on mobile, but using the strongest hardware available. This process, by the way, is entirely device to device. There's no cloud middleware, so the privacy and compliance overhead is still there. It's simplified dramatically, and it does seem to look like the world's first local AI-first ecosystem. But enough talk, let's just see that happen. So first thing we need to do is pair our mobile app to this new cutting-edge Snapdragon X2 Elite machine that we have. So we should have the screen pulled up, and if we go into like a workspace, right, like I've already sent a chat here, no big deal. What we want to do is we want to pair, and because this is such a new feature that we kind of have it tucked away in experimental settings, but it will be front and center soon. In the mobile app, we can just slide out the slide drawer, click on the QR code icon, and then simply register that with the machine. You can see this approve access just, for security. And then we can see that that workspace is actually available already. And if we slide out the menu, we can see that actually the laptop icon is kind of indicating that we can connect to it. Now, on this X2 Elite, we're actually running Llama 3.2 3B with an 8K context. And so what we can do here is just send a simple follow-up prompt like, how are you doing, right? Just something simple. And as you can see, the NPU graph on the desktop is doing all of this processing. That tiny spike was that response. And you can see we get a response really, really snappy, good kind of output here. To the everyday person, things like tops or efficiency and all these other really awesome metrics that are being talked about today, they are always nice to hear. But what matters more is that inference experience, which is basically to everybody here, how fast are you getting responses? And as you can see, with this kind of ecosystem, we can do that very quickly. These chats are also synced across devices, again, locally. I could walk to the back of this room, I could walk to the lobby, send a chat on this phone, and it'll get done on this computer. And so we are making all of that possible with all edge devices through a simple app ecosystem. So that's all for this demo of Anything LLM. If you have questions about deploying local AI in your organization to help you or yourself or your team do meaningful work, or you're actually interested in the reality of implementing that hybrid approach, come talk to me after the event. I'd be more than happy to walk you through how not only our current customers do this, but what we've seen succeed. And so we probably have a lot of insights and other things that would be valuable for your organization's AI strategy. As we move to more and more edge devices, you'll soon see Anything LLM on wearables, XR, and other platforms where we can take all that context, wrangle it, and give you really, really personalized and powerful answers. Thank you all for your time, attention, and Qualcomm, obviously, for hosting this incredible event.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Did I hear the word distributed on-device inferencing? I just want to make sure. Good. So it's no longer a myth, right? So you can do device-to-device inference. So this is one of the themes that we're trying to build on what Cristiano and Alex announced today, is how do we get this into production? And working with partners like Tim, he does the impossible stuff on device. Okay, so that being said, now we want to continue to really push for exciting experiences to be created on device. We have worked with another partner of ours called Nexa AI. Amazing team. They've actually shown how we can use the power of Hexagon NPU and get the state-of-the-art models. And these state-of-the-art models could be the instruction-based, could be reasoning-based, could be unimodal-based, could be multimodal-based, could be whatever context you can think of, all running on Hexagon NPU. And why is that critical? Because it gives you the time to first token advantage, it gives you the token per joule advantage, and is able to give you a higher token rate, especially to lay the foundation for Agentic AI. So they did an amazing job. Please do try it out on the 8 Elite Gen 5 platforms. And they don't stop here. In partnership with Nexa, we are delivering day zero NPU support on Snapdragon X Elite platforms as well. You're going to have a single SDK that streamlines the workflow, whether you're a developer optimizing apps for NPU acceleration or scaling enterprise models in NPU, everything runs seamlessly. The hyperlink from Nexa AI offers the same amazing UX and state-of-the-art retrieval, augmentation, and generation features that can search through your entire laptop, both textual image or data, all on device. And our expectation is as we continue to extend our relationship with the Nexa team, we're going to spread this on to other form factors like XR, auto, and IoT very, very soon. Okay, wasn't that a mouthful? Yeah? Awesome. I'm short of adjectives, right? So you guys have to help me out with what kind of adjectives I should need to be used with some of the amazing announcements you've done on this platform. So now let's shift gears and let's talk on another important platform of ours, the X2 Elite, which Kedar announced earlier today. When you look at the PC space, we launched the Generation 1 X Elite platform with about 45 TOPS of NPU last year. And working with Microsoft, obviously we did some amazing things and laid the foundation for Copilot Plus PCs. Now building on that innovation and then really trying to make sure we're able to service both, I would say, content creators and also enterprise and productivity creators, we have increased the amount of TOPS in this generation. And the TOPS is about 80 TOPS on this generation. That's about 78% growth generation over generation. Again, 78%. I want to emphasize that. Now, the question will always be is, okay, great, you've invested in compute and in TOPS. How does it manifest itself in terms of benchmarks? Right? So we have taken a few benchmark scores, but before we get there, I want to make sure that you guys can look at how do we stand apart compared to the competition. You see the tall skyscraper all the way in the left? It says 80 TOPS, and you see the distance between the other competitors. So we're out there, right? So I can confidently say, this is going to lay the foundation for some exciting experiences that's going to come on the PC platform. Okay, so that being said, now let's shift on to the benchmarks. On the benchmarks, starting off with Protion AI, which is an important benchmark, we are about 5.7x faster in terms of performance compared to that of Intel's top-end Core Ultra 9. Now, you can say, okay, maybe it's a fluke. We have done the same thing on a different benchmark. We have the Geekbench AI, and we see the same leadership and performance with approximately 5.7x compared to that of, again, Intel's top-end line. Isn't that amazing? In one generation? Awesome. Now, in addition to performance, it's also very critical that we continue to emphasize on battery life. And in this generation, in terms of performance per watt, we are close to about 3.8x more efficient compared to that of the nearest Intel Core. Again, I want to make sure you look at these numbers. 5.7 in terms of increased performance compared to that of the previous generation. 5.7x better compared to that of competition, and in addition to it, about 3.8x more efficient, getting that in a single generation of X2 Elite platform. Okay, now the question will always come back is, with this investment in our compute, and with this investment in terms of performance per watt, what is the advantage? So we kind of worked with few application developers to take utilization of this asset. So let's start with a few of our vendors. One of them happens to be Neep. Neep basically enhances audio quality with efficiency and performance gain, and they've transitioned this by moving all these use cases from CPU to the Hexagon NPU. Now, everyone, I've experienced this, is in a virtual meeting, many microphones lack effective noise cancellation. But Neep works on this on any microphone. The unique value that they add here is they're able to supplement both and support the speaker's microphone and that of the person that they're talking to. And since it extends for a long period of time, it's very important that the amount of impact on the battery life is as minimal as possible, and as such, we're able to do that on the NPU. The added advantage is you can also set up a voice profile so that only one person that is registered can be heard in the room, and all the other ones are completely noised out. Similarly, we worked with another ecosystem partner called Cresta. Cresta is revolutionizing enterprise contact centers with a unified AI platform for both human and AI agents. Cresta works with some of the world's largest organizations, including United Airlines, Cox, and Porsche, using AI to analyze, augment, and automate customer conversations at scale. With Cresta Agent Assist running on the Snapdragon NPU, enterprises can now better serve multilingual customers by translating voice conversation in real time, providing instantaneous support without long wait times. I love this stuff, especially when I'm having conversations with my partners in Asia. Language is always a barrier, and when you happen to have real-time voice translation on device, it makes a big difference. This empowers human agents to converse naturally in their non-native language, thereby breaking down language barriers and elevates the customer experience. Similarly, another partner of ours, Colo. Their unique app basically lets any professional to really support do-it-yourself interior designers and how they can visualize both furniture and decor in their home. My wife will love this stuff, and I don't have to be the Uber driver driving around. And this all happens on device, by the way. So you don't have to pay a subscription fee, which could be quite expensive, running into hundreds of dollars a year. And you could do multiple iterations, without any limits. Similarly, expanding on it, we have another partner of ours called SpotDraft. Now, SpotDraft is revolutionizing contract management for legal teams by drafting contracts so quickly and easily with AI-driven recommendations, especially for negotiations. I've been working with legal teams, and I'm telling you, man, it takes a long time, right? So this really helps to make sure these recommendations are quick and fast. Now, by moving these experiences on the Hexagon NPU, Spot Draft enhances privacy by keeping sensitive legal information on device, and it allows for secure iteration without sharing drafts outside the company, making it extremely important. Now, Spot Draft is an AI-powered CLM platform that accelerates content creation, analysis, and management by up to 3x. Now, by unifying teams, it provides real-time insights and ensuring seamless integration. Spot Draft transforms contracts into strategic assets. Now, these are few examples that we have worked with ecosystem partners that are spread across both enterprise, productivity, content creators to show the value of Hexagon NPU. Now, then let's look at AI frameworks. My colleague Jerry talked about how we're really supporting a framework integration for models that are developed in multiple frameworks, and how do we get that integrated on Qualcomm silicon. So here, we do something very similar, working with a partner of ours and Microsoft. We now have Windows ML, and Windows ML went GA earlier this week. So I would encourage you guys to look at the blog and how we're enabling this on Snapdragon platforms. Now, Windows ML basically provides you the platform on supporting multiple ecosystem developers. If they're using either C or C++, or even Python as an example, they could use these models, which are ONNX-based. You can run them locally on Windows PC using the ONNX runtime. And the added advantage is, you can choose automatically what is the back-end hardware IP of choice. Either could be a general-purpose compute machines like CPU or GPU, or you can transition to the Hexagon NPU as well. Now, to go a little bit more in detail, I got the perfect partner here to tell you more about this. So with that, I'd like to welcome Divya from Microsoft. Please give her a big hand.
Thank you, Vinesh. I'm thrilled to be here with you all today and showcase a few incredible experiences we've built on the Copilot Plus PCs powered by the NPU. As Stephen shared this morning, with Copilot Plus PCs and our journey co-engineering with Qualcomm on Snapdragon X, we've entered a new era where AI is pervasive, reactive, and always on, running in the background to make everyday tasks even more faster, easier, and more intuitive. We've built a platform that harnesses the power of the NPU and the small language models, all of which running entirely on your device, reasoning through multi-step tasks, and powering intelligent workflows with real contextual understanding. This is the beginning of a shift where your Windows PC doesn't just respond to you, it anticipates your needs and helps you stay in the flow. Let me show you this in action with some of the incredible experiences we've built in Windows to begin with. You all probably have thousands of documents, images, and files on your Windows PC. Sometimes, finding the right one can seem like a scramble, when it absolutely shouldn't. That's the exact problem we've solved with improved Windows search. Now, let me show you how this works. I'm trying to look for a picture from my last vacation to Cabo and email it to my friend. I cannot remember what I named it or where I saved it, but I do know it had this beautiful beach. Searching for that picture on my PC can be a scavenger hunt. But with improved Windows search, it is fast and easy. I can simply type in the search bar what I remember about this place, beautiful beach. There you go. It filters all relevant pictures that have beach in them. Now, within seconds, I can select the exact picture that I was looking for. Previously, the same would have taken me hours with a slight chance of me actually finding the picture I wanted. That's incredible, right? Under the hood, our modernized software stack with deep OS integration and groundbreaking advancements in Qualcomm silicon are powering several multimodal models that are enabling these incredible experiences. Improved Windows search is powered by our platform that understands your natural language query and performs a vector search to match the content in your files, documents, semantically, where you just describe what you're looking for in your own words. That is especially helpful when file names are vague, or when you don't remember anything about where you saved the file, but you just remember the content. Now that I've found the picture from my vacation, I'm ready to take the action and email it to my friend. I can simply copy the image and drop it into my email app. As I drop it, I see there is this random tourist in this image photobombing this beautiful picture, and I want to remove them. I simply right-click, Click to Do UI gets activated with the Windows key, and gives me a set of contextual menu of actions to choose from. I choose Erase Objects with Photos, and then I select the image of the tourist that I want to erase. With one click, the image is erased, and the background fills in naturally, and the photo looks clean and share-ready. Click to Do is an AI-powered feature on Copilot Plus PCs that enables users to take intelligent actions on anything they see on their screen without breaking their flow. Now, Click to Do is also powered by our on-screen understanding platform that under the hood uses several vision models to identify actionable entities like text, images, and many more, and recommend relevant actions. When you select text, for instance, it offers you several text intelligence features like rewrite, summarize, and more, all of which is powered by our on-device state-of-the-art model, Phi Silica. If you select an image, it offers you several features like background blur, erase objects, remove background, or even visual Bing search, all of which are powered by several image models all running locally on the device. Click to Do is designed to be context-aware, instant, and local first, leveraging the NPU and the on-device models to deliver fast, private, and efficient experiences. Now that I've shown you a few incredible examples that we've built inside Microsoft on Windows, I want to talk a little bit about the third-party partners we've enabled. In addition to the progress we've made in bringing these powerful AI experiences to the edge with speed, efficiency, and privacy to the NPUs, we've unlocked the power of this silicon for others to innovate as well, using the same innovative models and platform capabilities like Windows ML. In fact, we GA'd Windows ML just yesterday. This is our built-in hardware abstraction framework that enables developers to bring AI experiences seamlessly across silicon, NPU, CPU, and GPU. So every single application from Adobe to Zoom can be even more richer on Windows. Now, let me take an example of Filmora. Filmora is a popular video editing app on Windows with over 300 million all-time downloads globally across 100 countries. Filmora is known to deliver unique AI features like body effects. Now, let me show you how this works. I have preloaded Filmora in this video with this super cool video of some incredible skaters who filmed their awesome skating session at the local skate park. As you can tell, these guys are incredible at skateboarding, but they may not be as skilled at video editing. But they have Filmora to help. Filmora can transform this video with super cool effects really quickly. I want to highlight that exact moment where John, one of the guys, does this super cool, awesome grinding tricks off the rail. This is the hero moment of the clip that definitely deserves some visual emphasis. Now, using Filmora, I can add some really cool body effects to his move. This adds the cinematic flair and makes the moment pop. Just in a second, let's take the final look at the video with effects. That was pretty cool. If I were to do this, I would have had to learn design skills. Now I can do that seamlessly with Filmora. Now, as you saw, the video was snappy, there was no lag, performance was incredible. And the whole video editing was done locally on the NPU. The body effects AI workload on the Snapdragon NPU delivers 25% faster performance compared to the CPU. Now, just don't take my word. Let's look at another app, Topaz Labs. Topaz Labs have been pioneering image and video enhancement for over 20 years. With more than 3 million customers, their products are used by creative professionals and corporate teams alike. Just last week, Topaz released their first ARM-native version of their flagship app, Topaz Photo, which is pretty incredible. Features like denoise, sharpen, recover faces, adjusting color, and lighting are all local AI workloads powered by the NPU and trained on millions of licensed images. In fact, they have about 34 different AI models inside Topaz Photo that are optimized to run on the Snapdragon X Elite NPU to render the very best performance. Let me show you this in action now. I have the Topaz Photo loaded onto the, launched on the Copilot Plus PC with the Snapdragon X series NPU. What you're seeing there is a 1.8 megapixel crop of a larger photo. You can see the lack of details and pixelation in that image. Normally, our creative teams would not be able to use this for a print or a web campaign. But with the combination of Topaz's Recover Faces feature and upscale, I can instantly restore the lost details in that image. I simply select Recover Faces and then upscale. In seconds, Topaz Photo AI transforms this image. Face is crisp, details are restored, and resolution is ready for any campaign. I can also use, thank you. I can also use AI-powered color and lighting adjustments to match the campaign's brand palette. All changes are instant and reversible. No cloud uploading, no waiting, everything is just instantaneous. You can also compare the pre and the post image to compare the clarity and the quality it rendered. All of these features ran locally on the device leveraging the NPU. Topaz even tested this workload across NPU, GPU, and CPU, and they found some incredible results. They found that the AI workload on the NPU runs 30% faster compared to the GPU and CPU on the same device, which is pretty neat. Those were just a very few set of examples I showed you today, the apps that are leveraging the NPU to deliver some incredible AI experiences. You heard the exciting news earlier today about Ableton Live bringing their class-leading music recording software to Windows on Snapdragon. Now I want to tell you about an exciting company at the bleeding edge of music and audio technology, One Take Audio. To tell you more, let me introduce you to the founders of One Take Audio. Ido Zimishlani is a Grammy-nominated multi-platinum music producer and songwriter who's written and produced hit songs for Justin Bieber, the Jonas Brothers, Sabrina Carpenter, Dua Lipa and Jenny, and Shawn Mendes, all my favorite singers. Neil Block is a tech leader and a music fanatic with career-spanning roles as founder, CEO, CMO, CFO across ML and software industry. He's the architect behind One Take Audio's expansion from music production into exciting new markets. This year, they have a new breakthrough. Snapdragon's NPU-powered platform that lets musicians interact with AI audio models in real time within the software they're using to make the music. This exciting new product will be coming to market in a partnership with East West Sounds, who produce some of the most used virtual instruments for artists globally. Ido and Neil, take it away.
Thank you, Divya. We're so excited to be here. This is awesome. I want to start out by just saying that, generally, we're really optimistic about AI and music coming together. Music has always had such a link to technology because when you think about it, right, someone took a guitar and said, let's put some electricity through this, and then turn up the volume, and we got rock and roll. And then they took a vinyl player and a sampler, and they put them together, and then that was the birth of hip hop, right? And we feel like now the next wave is this collaboration between AI and music. It's bringing us these creative tools that are so exciting to use and create different sounds and landscapes. And it allows us to sort of take it to the next level. And the idea is to take those tools and give them to these creative tools and give them to creative people, because that's how we're going to get the best results.
One way we're going to do that is with our partnership with East West Sounds. East West Studios is a historic studio in LA. It was owned by Frank Sinatra. And Ido has actually worked there, recording some of today's top pop stars. So with this collaboration, they're investing in the future of music technology and AI. And with East West, we actually recorded the first ever human AI model that artists can use directly in their production software. We spent months designing the perfect science-based program to capture data, to train this model. The fun part for me, though, was being in a studio. I'd actually never been in a studio session at this scale. And what I realized was in that place, we have to respond to what's happening in the moment. And to pull the best performance out of an artist, that's something that's musical and organic, and actually you get a better and more natural result. East West is a storied, award-winning music software company. They've produced some of the most used virtual instruments for music and film and television. And their subscription service, which is called Composer Cloud Plus, it covers 42,000 instruments and voices, and it's a staple for music creators across the globe. And now, we'd love to show you a demo of what this collaboration looks and sounds like.
Let's put ourselves in the studio here. So that's me and Neil jamming out. Nice one. Very good. And that's the music software that I use to record and edit the music. Every producer in the world, every musician in the world is using a software like this to make music. And it's important that creatives who make music can have access to AI tools in that software. The reason is because then we can actually interact with that software like an instrument, right? Because when I play the piano, I hit the keys, and then I hear something, and that informs me of what I want to do next. I play a guitar, and then I think, oh, maybe I want to use this next chord or write this next lyric. And really that interaction and that interplay is what creates the most creative results. I'm going to play you a song that I've been working on, and we'll kind of see this in practice.
Everything's gonna be alright. And the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stars won't fall out of the sky.
Pretty good, right? That's me singing. Okay, hold your applause. So as a producer, I often think of myself as a movie director, right? Because I'm taking all these different characters, these different sounds, these different musicians, and putting together in this musical experience. And to me, when I listen to this song, lately I've been kind of feeling like maybe it needs to have a female voice. Like I think that might bring it to life in a different way. Why don't we use our tool to switch my voice out?
And every day's gonna be sunshine. And everyone you love is gonna be fine.
I mean, that's crazy. And the funny thing is as I listen to that, I think to myself, okay, for female voice, I kind of want to hear it a few semitones up because it might have a better tone, a richer tone that's more in line with where she sings. Why don't we bring it up a few semitones and hear what that sounds like?
And every day's gonna be sunshine. And everyone you love is gonna be fine.
I mean, crazy. That sounds amazing. Yeah. It does because, when I listen to her tone at that range, her tone is fuller, it's richer. And the only way that I can arrive at that version of this song is through iterations, right? And I get those iterations in a real-time manner, and then I can really interact with them, and it makes me think, oh, maybe this song needs to be in a different key, and I need to change some of the other instruments and the other elements to sort of bring it to life. And the only way that I can really do that is because we're operating here locally on device, which makes it much faster and more secure. Because otherwise, I have to go to a website and I have to take my precious IP and upload it and, wait and separate the stems and download it. And then I have to bring those files and bring them back to my music recording software where I make the music. And by the time I've done all that, I kind of lost the plot. I kind of lost what I was really trying to do there. And don't forget that that's me doing it on one iteration. But I had to do 3 or 4 iterations to get the best version of this one. And so this is a way for us to enhance the process, to speed up the process. But it also allows for us to take these incredible AI tools that are being developed that are, me and my friends are using in the studio all the time, but put it at the creative people's fingertips in their environment. Because if we can do that, and we can take these incredible tools and bring them to the creative people, then we're going to get some incredible results.
I love being in the studio when Ito's making music. It is such a cool experience, and it's something new to me, too. It's also exciting to see how generative AI can work in a professional environment like this. What you heard is not just traditional audio effects. We are actually streaming audio through generative models to create a whole new performance in real time. Today's music AI tools, just like Ito was saying, they run on the cloud, but what we've developed, it runs locally. And this version you've seen here is running on Snapdragon NPU on Windows. And so we're fighting a war on latency and providing security, and that's all inside your existing workflows. The moment that we're in now, it's a glimpse of the future of what's possible, not just with new instruments and new voices and new sounds, but also in audio cleanup, in voice processing, and radio signal processing, and beyond. With the hardware and software tools that OneTake Audio has developed, the potential is endless, from talking to your buddies in a video game or talking to your crew in a spacecraft. Thanks very much for listening. We'll be here to answer some questions afterwards. And now back to you, Vinesh.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks. Thank you so much. I mean, all the stuff that you can just imagine 12 months ago, right, is all possible on device. OK, so let's quickly summarize some of the exciting announcements that we presented both on the 8 Elite Gen 5 platform and on the X2 Elite. So on the 8 Elite platform, as we mentioned, we continue to drive towards perception and generative AI innovation. And we have done that by increasing our performance by about 37% compared to that of the previous generation. And we also increased our performance per watt, or power efficiency, by about 16%. We have introduced 2 new data types, INT2 and FP8, and able to accomplish about 220 tokens per second on that new SoC. Similarly, on X2 Elite, we have pushed ourselves towards about 80 TOPS. It lays the foundation to do a lot of innovative things and servicing both our content creators, enterprise and productivity creators as well. And not to mention, it has approximately about 3.8x better performance and efficiency compared to competition, all very critical, especially for sustained leadership in terms of performance. So with that, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank everyone for being on the stage, and also all our partners who really worked with us so closely in getting some exciting experiences launched on device. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. We invite you to now meet the experts with our partners from Page AI, OneTake Audio, and Anything LLM, which will take place in the press lounge just down the hallway for a chance to engage with them directly on the demonstrations they just presented. Feel free to grab some coffee or a snack before returning to your seats at 3:45 p.m. for our mobile Q&A with our technology leads. Thank you.